Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, you guys?
It's
Pretty
great.
Doing
good.
good.
Going
It's going.
good.
All right. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time out to join us tonight. Tonight we have a special episode, episode number 7. September is, as many people don't know and some do not, September is Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Awareness Month. And Savage Ladies of Metal wanted to do something special for not just for that community, but for everyone who may not know that the community does exist, that there are people that they can reach out to and talk to. And Project Semicolon is a beautiful foundation that was created over a little over 10 years ago. Is that correct?
10 years exactly. This is our 10th.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 years ago
Next year.
By Amy Blue.
Yeah.
And an amazing woman
Yeah.
who created something that the world couldn't wait to come face to face with and have people to reach out to.
That's awesome.
I would like to introduce everybody. First, I would like to introduce CEO of Project Semicolon. How are you, Mike?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
We are very, very appreciative and grateful that you're here with us tonight. And such an amazing, it's a very important month, a very important time,
Very much so.
especially of the year that many of us need to know where we can go if we need to reach out and talk to somebody.
Right.
Also with us, we have our special co-host guest, Kristy Tallica. How are you, sweetheart?
Hi, I'm great, Fran. Thank you for inviting me back.
Absolutely. We are glad you are here. We absolutely adore you and are grateful you came back again.
Thank you.
We also have Chrissy from Bulldog Management. How are you, sweets?
Hi, this is a difficult conversation for me to have, but I feel like it needs to be brought to everybody's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Well, we're all here for the same reason. I'm sure we all have a small story we can tell also, and we can get into that later.
Yeah.
Also, Crystal from Texas Metal Militia. How are you,
Hi.
sweetheart?
Doing good.
Good. Again, everyone, thank you for being here today. And I'm just going to get right to it. Michael.
How are you?
I am good. Thank you again so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Would you like to tell everybody who you are, exactly what you do, and what Project Semicolon is about for those who may not know that there is a resource that they can reach out to?
My name is Michael Shields. I am the CEO of Project Semicolon Inc. We are a mental health and suicide prevention organization. Our organization is a little bit different from the traditional mental health and suicide prevention organization. We save lives through sort of like symbolism. So it's like you have the semicolon, and it's more about your connection to that symbolism. And it's a reminder of the times that you fought and won the battle against your mental health, your mental illness. And that's kind of what we push on our side. It's not a lot of the organizations, they have other things that they do. We're mainly about that symbolization because we believe that the semicolon saves lives, and people that are in our community will tell you that the semicolon has helped them as that reminder to the times. It's a reminder of your own strength, basically, because when you get in that crisis, in that dark place, it's hard to remember that you've been here before and you won that battle then. And having the semicolon is more of sort of reminding you of your own strength, that you're here again, and you made a plan of how you were going to get out of this. It's a reminder of how to get past those dark moments in your life. And it works for so many people. And I want more people just to find the semicolon. Certainly, as we move into this territory where more and more people are struggling with their mental health, and at the same time having a shortage of mental health professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. and being scheduled out for months sometimes to see a psychiatrist in the United States, because there's so many people that are struggling. So ideas like Project Semicolon become more and more important as that becomes more and more a reality. Getting in to see a psychiatrist when you're in a crisis is really important. Being scheduled out a month to see them when you're in that tough spot is just unacceptable. And Project Semicolon having something like this symbolization that you could just wear on your wrist. And maybe you don't like tattoos, and you could have a t-shirt, or you could just draw it on your arm with a marker or something, or just have it drawn on a picture, a painting on your wall at your house. Anything. It doesn't have to be a tattoo. A lot of people think that we're tied to the idea of the semicolon being a tattoo, and that really isn't part of what we're doing. It's really just about reminding you of your own strength, because we're all strong enough. It's just remembering that when we get in that tough situation.
Absolutely. How did you get involved with Project Semicolon?
So I own a software development company in Denver, Colorado, and we do pretty much everything. But I met Amy because I knew a guy named Sean Mulroney, who's this incredible guy. At the time, I think he weighed like 700 pounds. And we were doing TED Talks. I was curating TED Talks events in the Denver area and the Greeley, Colorado area. And Sean wanted to do a TED Talk. I thought that Sean would be incredible at doing a TED Talk, because he just spoke so well and had so many incredible things that he could say to help people who were going through the challenges that he was going through. So I remember just scheduling it out so that he could come in, fly in, so that we could have all of our speakers at the event there. And Sean couldn't get on the plane because he weighed too much. So we spent the next year going through trying to get his weight down so that he could do a talk the next year. And me and Sean became really, really close during that time. And Sean also struggled with his mental health and was highly suicidal as well. We became really good friends. And he says that I helped him. And he survived because of our friendship. And when he met Amy and she was going through some of the same struggles, he thought about me and introduced me to Amy. And we just became really close. She was like my little sister. And we've known each other for almost, it seems like forever. And Project Semicolon sort of came around once I started seeing the things that she was going through and how intense it was. And you can imagine being a guy who's been in software development his whole life, all of a sudden, and also being African American, because, and I mention that because it matters when you consider the fact that African Americans have such a low suicide rate. And all of a sudden, this guy ends up being the guy that's talking to this person who's really going through it. And I had no experience to rely on at that point. I grew up in Mundy, Texas, 1,200 people, small town. We had tons of people that were going through challenges. And the Black community, when things happen, when someone's going through those kinds of challenges, you just say, yeah, they're crazy. And you move on. These are things that we're taught when we're young. And then you grow up with those same ideas and you just sort of avoid it because it doesn't really affect your day-to-day life. Luckily, I had the heart to actually listen to Amy and listen to what she was going through, and be patient with me because I haven't talked about her.
Take your time.
I haven't talked about her in years. So this is the first time actually in public that I've been talking about her. It's really difficult because a lot of people don't know who I am. When we started Project Semicolon, I think that I saw Project Semicolon differently I saw Project Semicolon as a form of hope for Amy. I wanted Amy to feel like she mattered, because that's the void that she had. She didn't feel like she mattered. And something in me was just saying, if you can give her a voice, if you can give her a way to see that she's affecting other people in a positive way, maybe that'll be enough energy around her to inspire her to want to survive, to live. And I just started thinking of having her talk. Just talk, Amy. You do so well when you speak about what's happening to you. It's incredible the way that this girl could vocalize and interpret the feelings and the things that she was going through. And not many people who are going through mental health challenges have that ability. They really get stuck at some point where they're really trying to find it. And that's what makes psychiatrists and therapists and all of them so important, is because they help you get to the root of it. This girl actually had it figured out. She really spent a lot of time in a lot of introspective space to sort of figure out what was going on. And I just thought that was just incredible. And that's why I wanted her to just start talking, Amy. Get on your Facebook and just start talking. Get on Instagram and just start talking. And she did. And she came up with the semicolon tattoo, and it was to commemorate her dad, who had passed away when she was 18 from suicide. And I was blown away. It's like, this girl just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like, this light was so bright, and it was astonishing that this light was so bright and she couldn't see it. I just couldn't understand it. It just tore me up, because I spent so much time like in software development. And then I went through this sort of phase. The reason why I said that is because I couldn't understand why the universe was putting me in this situation. It was just like, why me? Like all I've done is create software my whole life, like and devote myself to creating this company. Like, why would I be in this space? You know? And once that happened, once she did the semicolon tattoo, it was just like, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. This girl is really, really going to make a difference. She is just too bright. She just shines too bright. And sometimes those blinders get on and you get in those spaces where you just don't see your own light. And my only job in that moment was just to let some of that in. And that's what I was trying to do. And luckily, this tattoo, once she did that post on Facebook, it just was all over the world. People from Ireland and Norway and Canada and China, Japan, everybody all over the place was calling. Literally within 24 hours, all of that happened. And it was unbelievable. It was just unbelievable. I still don't believe it to this day. So that's how it all started. It had nothing to do with me. This girl, Amy, I don't know how to explain the kind of person that Amy was. She was just incredible. And she was here for that. There's no way that anybody could explain to me how a person existed like her, and they weren't here for that specific reason. That's why Amy existed. She was here because she was supposed to make a difference and change lives, and not just the type of difference that I'm going to make in my lifetime, which I hope is very impactful. She made a difference that like crossed the ocean, that crossed over the borders of every town, every city, every country, and touched the lives of people who don't even have semicolons on the keyboards in their country. And still what she came up with resonates with them. So I know I went too far, and that's
No.
but
No, we want to hear this. I mean, we'd love to hear the story.
yeah,
and how everything came to be.
So that's how it all started, and the rest is history. Like, it just went fast from there. There's other little pieces of that, and I'm sure I can dive in and add them at some point, but I won't hog up all the time getting this thing going.
It's nice to see the passion behind it.
Excuse me?
It's nice to see you have so much passion behind it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very evident.
So, very much so, yeah.
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 Kristy, go ahead. I mean, I could go all day. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna share the screen time. Go ahead, sweetheart.
So I'm happy to say that what Amy started is continuing strong. It's everywhere. I see it everywhere. It's kind of like when you go to the store and you see someone in the store wearing a t-shirt of your favorite band. It's like this instant connection. Yes, we're besties now. I don't know nothing about you, but I just see you wearing a certain symbol that means something very important and significant. So it's a way of having this instant understanding and bond and connection with strangers. And what a wonderful time we live in where it's okay to have that sensitivity, to be compassionate, to help each other heal, to look out for each other. I think that's really cool. So I just want to say thank you for continuing on where she left off. And it's growing. And I see that the website had a lot of really cool resources for people. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we're continuing to build on that, and hopefully over the next few months we'll be adding a lot more stuff. So yeah, I appreciate that acknowledgement. It's a lot of hard work went into it.
Yeah.
I am one of the people that actually has a semicolon.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
My brother committed suicide back in 2010.
I'm sorry.
And ever since then, I've just kind of, it's a reminder that I still can go on. Gives me a little bit more strength. So, I mean, even I've had my struggle with my mental, but I've never gotten that far.
Yeah.
But when losing my brother, not only was he's my oldest brother, but he was also my best friend.
Yeah.
And living through it is one of the most difficult things I ever have to go through.
Yeah. So sorry.
I'm so sorry, Kristy.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I wanted to do this show this month.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what you're experiencing, that loss, I can relate to it because Amy was like the best little sister you could imagine. We were close. We talked all day long, about everything you can imagine. So I definitely know how that feels. And I feel for you. I'm really sorry that happened to you. Yeah.
It's hard to come. I love talking to his friends that he's had when he was younger. I like hearing those stories than the stories that I hear about him when he got older.
Yeah.
He had just turned 30.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So young.
Mm-hmm. No warning. There was no, now we can look back and go, okay, well, yeah, there was a red flag. But
yeah,
back in 2010, there wasn't a lot of resources. And it was, and it was like a stigmata if somebody close to you did do it. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew how to react to it. And that's the reason I'm glad the Project Semicolon has brought it to the forefront. That way people aren't so ashamed to reach out for help no more.
Yeah.
And Amy made that possible.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the best things ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Hearing people say positive things about her and how she touched them, that's tough, and I hear it all the time. It's just so tough. And the reason why it's tough is because she never saw it.
Yeah.
She never saw it. She had no connection to that idea. It never hit her that she had done something so remarkable. It was just, all she could see was that she was not good enough. She was not good enough. And yeah, it just, Go
You
ahead.
just reminded me saying not good enough. One of my favorite bands is Citizen Soldier.
Sure.
And they take the mental health battle and they turned it into art, like music. Bedroom Ceiling is an amazing song. Tattoo got me through my depression. And
Cool.
having a band that is very open about it,
Yeah.
one of the best things.
Yeah. And leading into that, this is something that I wanted to touch on whenever Fran reached out to me. Thank you for reaching out, number one. Thank you so much. I don't know what inspired you to reach out to us, but I'm very happy that you did. But the connection and the correlation between music and mental health and suicide prevention, it's just so profound. It's like so natural. And when I think about some of the greats, some of the greatest people who have been so open about their experience with mental health, you have to wonder why they end up being some of the largest acts on the planet. And it's because you let so many people into your life to see these parts of you that they themselves haven't opened up to let people see. And I don't know that musicians understand, like, whenever you're singing that song and it has those words and that experience in it, you're talking to people who feel the exact same way and just don't know how to sing it the way that you sing it. And when they hear it, it gives them so much energy and so much hope and saves so many lives, like literally on a daily basis. So there's Project Semicolons all over the world, just in different form, in music, in art, and so many different things. But when I think of some of the greats, I have to mention Selena Gomez, and the reason why is because she's just so open. There's not anything that she keeps in. She shares everything with her fans, and she's one of the largest in the world on social channels. She's just all over the place. But then I go to other people like Kurt Cobain, who sang some of the most emotional songs on the planet and talked about the things that he was going through, as well as Chester Bennington, who I had
Same.
who I was lucky enough to speak with his wife and team after all of this happened about an event. So I just know, and Amy Winehouse, when you think of these singers that have these songs that really touch on their experience, and it's obvious why they become so loved, because they're speaking the language of so many people and that can't speak for themselves. And I just think it's so important. And that's why I think it's awesome. And that's why I wanted to be here when you asked, Fran, because I know the significance of what you're trying to do here. And that's why I wanted to be here, because making that connection between music and mental health and suicide prevention, it's a no-brainer. And the more we talk like this, the more people we're going to reach.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, there's music has a huge impact on everything everyone does in their life, whether it's depression or, it can drive endurance. It could, whatever you may need, you will listen to your form of music, your style of music to help build, your want to do something. Maybe you need to something as an energy boost. It could be in a gym. It doesn't matter what it is, but it does really help people get through some of the hardest times. But it also sometimes can help go the other direction. If somebody came to you, if somebody calls down Project Semicolon and they came, you heard from them that they heard about your foundation and they really, really like this music, but it's actually making them look the other way instead of using it as a driving force to stand strong and fight. It's bringing them down. Have you ever come across that?
I haven't come across that. But I know exactly what you're saying. There's another side to introspection, because when you start deep diving into yourself and and this music is sort of inspiring this deep dive, yeah, I can imagine that there are things that can trigger you and send you in the opposite direction. I've never had that happen. I know that that has to be so many people's reality. I've just never had to personally deal with somebody going through that. I haven't really, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people will say music has helped me through so many things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm ashamed that I've never dove deeper into that statement and just say, what songs do you listen to? What songs help you the most? And recently, that's what we started doing. What song is helping you the most? And we had this thing set up on our website where we're gonna like share all of these songs that are inspirational and that help people going through certain things. But when you said that, it made me think of something. Right before Amy died, Logic, if you remember him, he came up with this song. It had the 1-800 number for suicide prevention. You remember that?
Vaguely. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a long. This was 2016, 17.
Yeah, because Amy passed in 2017, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the words of the song being so confusing when you heard it. You really didn't know where he was trying to go with it because the words were almost had like dual meaning. Like you could really get it confused if you didn't listen to the whole song, right? And I remember Amy texting me and she was so mad. This is right around the time with 13 Reasons Why too.
Oh.
So 13 Reasons Why had Amy mad because she hated that. And then we had this, and we had also just lost a musician. I can't remember which one, but so many things were happening around the time that she passed away. She was really going through it. But that song was one of those songs where if you didn't give it a chance and really try to understand where he was going with it and what he meant by this, it would really have you wondering why this song, and it could really send you in the wrong direction. And I forget the words, but when you get done with this, if you look at that, it's Logic, and it's the one that had the suicide prevention number on the screen really large. Right. But yeah, that's what it made me think of when you said that, was how people will interpret things differently. And you also have to understand suicide prevention isn't a cookie cutter situation.
Right.
That's what's happening to us in this country, is that we get too tied into these small ideas instead of a million big ideas, like a million Project Semicolons, ideas like that think outside the box. We can't stay in this sort of commercialized thinking where we just go, oh, you have depression, go see a psychiatrist, go see a psychologist, go talk to a therapist. Because as I mentioned in the beginning of this, probably before we went live, there's a shortage of psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. If you can imagine it, there's a shortage because we have an epidemic in this country. So ideas like Project Semicolon are important, and we have to keep building on that and coming up with these non-conventional ideas that help people survive. Because telling people just go see a psychiatrist is not helping. We've been doing this for hundreds of years, and it's getting worse. Adolescent suicide is age 9 to 19, like the top thing, number 2 in that category is suicide. That's their leading cause of death. A 9-year-old to 19, like they just started living, and 9, you're like just learning about the world. And these kids are already formulating exit strategies at 9 years old. And if you look at the numbers, and this is what scares me, Fran, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, because I research so much uh, obsessively. If you look at the numbers all the way from the early 1900s, like suicide wasn't even on the radar back then. And you could say that a lot of that is because they didn't keep up with the stats and nobody knew, but you have to imagine that it became such an epidemic that they started talking about it at some point. That was in the 60s when it showed up at number 10 on the leading cause of death. And then you to the 2000s where it's all the way to number 3. And then you get to today where it's number 2. Where are we going to be in 10 years, in 5 years? Where are we going to be then? If we have 9-year-olds ending their lives, if we have 19-year-olds forming exit strategies at that age, and the leading cause of death in that age group is suicide, where will we be in 10 years? Because we've seen the roadmap from the early 60s, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. So, yeah, go ahead. I want to hear it, Kristy.
That age group you're talking about, my son, he's 25 now. He has a disorder called brittle bones. The depression rate and the suicide rate in that it's so large and such a major cause.
Yeah.
I put my son in therapy at I think he was 14.
Oh.
Because he was already going down that path, and him and my brother were very, very close.
Yeah.
And that terrified me seeing him in that situation.
Yeah.
And he still he still sees the same therapist. He's doing really good, but the whole point is he was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And part of it was because of bullying.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And I take him into the therapist, and I'm looking at little kids, young kids, everybody running around, and just these, like you said, 9, 10-year-olds. But what the fuck do you got to do to make them feel that bad?
Yeah.
You know, and it's very, very just, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because at 9 years old, I was playing with Barbie dolls.
You and me both, Kristy. Yeah. You were playing with Barbies. I was playing with G.I. Joes. We were
marrying each other. I had 5 brothers.
I like Gem and the holograms. Am I the only one?
We're having a good time. It's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I look back on that and I'm going, what is in their life has that much effect on them at that age?
Yeah.
Wasn't there like a 9 or 10-year-old little girl that just killed herself?
Yeah.
And made the news, and I want to say it was in Kentucky, but I can't remember. She was like 9 or 10 years old, and that was it. And I'm like, and she was because she was being bullied, and I'm like, what? No, I don't grasp the concept of it. It's so mind numbing. I don't even know how to even word it.
Yeah.
I dealt with it when I was young. A lot of it was because I just could not imagine a future without pain, fear, torment. It's when you're in the moment, it's very easy to project negativity into your future. It's hard to imagine feeling any other way.
Absolutely.
So it was up to me to eventually, I figured out I'm not powerless. I do have power. It's just within my community. I have the power to affect people around me in a positive way. I can't fix the world. I can't fix all the things that are wrong with the world, but I can help the people closest to me with whatever they're dealing with. And in that way, I had control. I had power. And that helped me so much. And there's a lot of other things too, but I don't want to talk too much.
You haven't talked enough. That was beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Crystal hasn't had a chance to really talk yet. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh my God, where do I start? It's gonna be real heavy when I talk about my stuff. I have a pinned post on my Facebook, and I was raped when I was 5 years old by a boy, a 12-year-old boy that lived across the street. And you know, for many years I suppressed that. I always felt guilty, so I removed myself from all this social stuff as a child. And my parents never knew. They had they didn't think that a child would do something horrific like that. And as I grew up, I was because I know that I read somewhere that a child's brain doesn't develop until they're 7, around that time. And it really messed with my mind. And as I got older, I felt like I wasn't good enough. I always felt guilty for everything. So I always excluded myself. I'm always excluding myself from everything that um I did. And when I was in high school, I kept it from my parents for 11 years. Didn't tell them. Um when I told my parents, they automatically knew who it was, the boy that had raped me. And it wasn't one time, it was many, many times. And when I had my first boyfriend, I thought, hey, he understands me, and um he's going to be there for me. And it wasn't like that. He made it so much worse. It got to the point that um I I tried to commit suicide at school. I tried to commit suicide at home. Any little chance, I had this um thing I would do was cutting. I cut my wrist, my legs, and it was more like kind of like this, that I felt guilty. And little did I know this guy was going to end up hurting me and taking advantage of me. And he didn't care. He cheated on me, and I was always thinking, why me? Why me? Why is it that it has to be me? Like, what did I do? What did I do wrong in this world? And so again, it happened. Sexual assault, sexual harassment at school, at work, everywhere I went. And I was like, why are they picking on me? Like, what is it that I have that these men get so obsessive with me? And I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. But later down the road, I at age 36, I was properly diagnosed with PTSD, with bipolar 1, panic disorder, anxiety, and PTSD. And it's when you have bipolar, there's times where if things go well, it's something that makes me happy, I want to live. I definitely want to live. But it's something, if someone tells me something,
I'm
um
sorry. I'm sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
And when somebody, when something goes wrong, I want to die. I don't want to live.
Mhm.
And that's always been me. It's like, why do I feel guilty? Why can't I just be happy? And so with that pinned post that I have on my personal Facebook account, I I did it for others to speak. Because I know that there's so many people, and it really hurts me. It hurts that it, to me, this is, it will never end. Um Sexual abuse will never end, and I, I don't know why. I don't know if people are not informed about it. Um, People always think it's men that go around uh harassing little girls, and it's not that. It's also women. It's also children. I mean, uh, they were surprised that it was a 12-year-old. I mean, who the fuck does that? Where did he learn this crap? Where, why, and then why me? Why me? And when I needed my parents the most, it's like he knew what to do. He calculated everything. He knew when. The thing is that when I was 5, my mother told me, don't close the restroom because I'll be right there watching you, right? And she got distracted. It's like that. A parent gets distracted with anything, and he knew when to take advantage of me. And there's times where I have, y- I don't know if anyone else does this or they feel this, but there's times where there's a smell or there's a song that I hear, and I can't hear that. I want to throw up. And that was me when I started kinder, because it happened in 1989. Um when I would go to school, um I would throw up. It was this anxiety that would start. And my mom took me to the doctor, and they would tell her, no, no, she's getting a cold, and blah blah blah, right? But little did they know that it was anxiety that I had, because I didn't want to see that guy. I didn't want to see that kid, and he was there. So it was hard. It was hard for me. There was one incident that happened where they wanted us to sell chocolates around the neighborhood. I told the teacher I don't want to. And my kinder teacher was a, I'm sorry to say this, but she was a bitch. She picked on me a lot. She bullied me. She made fun of me. She didn't know what I was going through. And instead of asking me and being a good teacher, she fucking bullied me for everything. And I told her I don't want to do this. And she told me, well, if you don't want to do this, well, then take it to the principal's office and tell them that you don't want to do that. And I didn't want to do that, sell chocolates, because I knew that this boy lived across the street from me, and I didn't want to see him. And the moment that I would see him, I would throw up. Literally, I would throw up. And that was that's been my life. I I lost count on how many times I've tried to do it. Um I just feel like if men are gonna do that to me, why even live? And that's my mentality. It's been of I don't feel I'm never feeling good enough about myself. And it I try my best. I try my best, but there's always going to be people that take advantage of me. And I didn't to these people that did this to me, I never done anything to them. And I I'm going to talk about this because it's been recent. My ex booking manager, he attacked me and he tried to kill me. And it's this happened in June. I was his provider. I helped him. Um, I did as much as I could. I mean, I know that he had his mental illness, but I almost died. He tried to kill me with the sword, and it's been tough on me, and I I'm trying to continue moving on, but it just hits me. This depression hits me, and there's times I don't want to get up. I don't want to get out of bed. And I'm still trying to cope with that. And I did file uh, a report, but it's sad that we both work at the same venue. Um, he is doing events. He's a promoter as well. Um, and it's scary. It's scary. I never want to see this person ever again. This person is this person shouldn't be allowed to be in society because he is not mentally stable. He's not. And what happened is that I feel like people don't believe me, and I don't know what I can say for them to understand that this happened to me. And
Crystal, I believe you, and I'm sorry that happened, and that's pretty recent. So I can understand if you're feeling a little panicky just talking about it right now. Do you like see it in your mind? Do you kind of relive it just talking about it?
yes.
Let's
Yeah.
take a deep breath right now. Shake it out. Reset. First of all, you didn't deserve that. I'm sorry that happened. And you're safe right now.
Sorry.
And
Absolutely.
and the people that he's working with are the people that are my friends, and
We're your family, girl. You're my sister. You're my little sister. And I will carry you with me.
There's nothing broken inside of you. There's nothing, there's not a target on you. It's just people, some people are, they want to hurt others and they go for certain people. They're going to go for someone with a very kind heart because they know you might tolerate them and their nonsense a little longer. So there's nothing bad in you. It's that there's something good in you.
thank you. I mean, I try. I try, and like I always say, I try to help as many people as I can. But it's been really tough.
You got to stay where you're appreciated and
Absolutely.
loved and respected most of all, and safe. Your safety is number one priority. Be willing to lose friendships over it. Walk away if you have to. Walk away from that venue. Walk away from business, contacts, whatever you got to do. Your safety is number one.
And I mean, that's why I took a break from doing events, because it's just too much for me right now, and I just want to really focus on myself. And of course, the psychiatrist, he said you need to talk to a counselor, and I've been wanting to, but it's always that I can't get out of bed. I can't. And I'm like, I want to, but then at the same time, it's like I'm stuck here, and just reliving that moment over and over and over again.
Because your brain's trying to process something like, what could I have done different? How can I survive this? You're still in survival mode.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it breaks my heart. I'm so sad that you're living this way.
Can I ask you a question, Crystal?
Hmm.
I, my brother and my mother suffered from bipolar. Did the attack, like, does that exacerbate that disorder?
The what?
Does does being attacked by your ex, did that exasperate your bipolar? It makes
Yes.
it hurt. You know, I know they have the manic highs and the manic lows. Like, does it make it worse? I don't even know how to ask that, but I'm just curious about it. I'm not real for sure.
Um. Well, it put me in a very severe depression. Um. There's times where, like I said, there's times where, oh, if everything goes well, I want to live. and and if something I see online, or if I hear something from this person, um especially my ex booking manager, I'm like, do you not understand that this person is not mentally capable of being not even a friend, and he's manipulating people, and it makes me mad. It pisses me off that, why do these how he manipulates people. It's so disgusting that and another thing is that these people that I was working with, I told them exactly what he did to me, and they went to him. They're now working with him as a group type of promoting. And that hurt. I mean, I if somebody were to tell me, Crystal, this guy did this to me, that he wanted to kill me, and he did all these sort of bad things, I would totally be on their side.
Yeah, the last thing I would do is go befriend the piece of shit. I'm sorry
Yes,
to say that, but it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, last thing I want to do is reach out to this guy and be like, "Hey, what's up? Want to work together?" I mean, that's
Right.
you.
That's
You go to people that you are
that.
looking for. Looking for someone to help you, to be there for you, to give you a shoulder to cry on, and just to listen. And instead, they turn their head and walk
Yes,
towards the enemy and befriend the enemy. I mean, that's a slap in the face.
yes. And that's what put me more into this stress mode, and anxiety, and panic attacks, and um having nightmares, and waking up all sweaty, and there are times where I'm sitting on my bed, I'm just like thinking, like, what did I do wrong? These people don't understand. They betrayed me too. I mean, I was trying to tell them, hey, this guy is not mentally capable of doing anything. He even told me himself, he said, I don't want to be a promoter. I don't want nothing to do with Texas Metal Militia Productions. All my family tells me um not to be in the scene. Even my other friends tell me that. And then I see him being a promoter. So it was like, were you using me? Were you manipulating me all this time and thinking that, I saw him as a very true friend. I mean, I knew him since high school, and I didn't know. That's why I was like, what the hell happened to you? But he does suffer from uh paranoid schizophrenia. He does have bipolar. He has all these things, but he takes it to a different level. He has these uh tantrums where if he doesn't get his way, he starts becoming the victim himself. And he starts acting like if he's possessed to get attention. And it got to the point, you know what? I can't tolerate this bullshit. This is bullshit. You have medication. You have a lot of help. I help you as a friend. And what more do you want? So it was a big slap in the face when I saw these people uh go with him and to work with him. But like I said to them, you never been in a situation where you hear Crystal is going to die tonight. And those words they're stuck in my mind forever. And that night I felt like I was in a horror movie. And all I could think was my family, and think like this is going to be the last day that I'm going to be on this earth. And they don't understand that.
I'm glad you're still here, and it wasn't your last day.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't.
Can I share some tips for how to deal with panic when you're in the midst of a panic attack?
Sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So, self-soothing. So, when you're in the midst of it, you're actively panicking. You're having that feeling of imminent, doom. Just look around the room. There's this trick. You can also use it when you're driving. You move your eyes around, and your brain's going to start processing everything that you're looking at. So the more you move your eyes around, the more you're taking in. It's a trick to help you stay awake when you're driving too. But when you're in the midst of a panic attack, just look around and just start identifying everything. Okay, there's a bed, there's a blanket, there's my water bottle, here's my microphone, I'm looking at my hand. It pulls you into the moment instead of reliving the scary moment. You want to pull yourself into the moment. There's we all have music for different situations. There was a band that used to help me stay in the moment a lot, and it was Rat. So when I was panicking, I would listen to Rat, because their lyrics are very in the moment. I'm on the train, I see a pretty girl, we're going to go, whatever. So that was another thing. Having a physical sensory toolbox on hand is going to help a lot in those moments when you're actively panicking. So you get a little box, you can decorate it if you want, and you're going to fill it with things that are going to bring you into the moment. So it's a sensory toolbox. You want to find something that feels nice, maybe a feather. Something that smells nice, maybe a bottle of your favorite essential oil. I like orange. It's very bright and happy. Maybe in the sensory toolbox, you're going to put a photograph of one of the happiest moments of your life, just a happy day. So we got, smell, touch, feel, or how about taste? Maybe a bag of your favorite candy, a piece of your favorite candy. So you want to have this box ready for that moment when you feel, panicking and you can't stop thinking about the incident. You bust open that sensory toolkit, you feel the feather, you look at the photo, eat your favorite candy, and it's going to help you. And it's not a distraction. It's going to really pull you into the moment. Sometimes distractions are okay, but that's not going to heal. You need something that's going to help you cope in the moment. What's another thing? Laughter. Laughter is contagious. Play a video of just people laughing. You might start laughing too. Or watch a video of something funny. You know, news bloopers. Or create a playlist, a private playlist if you want, on YouTube of songs that can uplift you when you feel sad or scared. I'm a big fan of the placebo effect. One time someone told me, you know, if you eat a green M&M, it'll make you happy.
I heard something totally different about a green M&M. I'm just
Maybe it was a
saying.
different color.
I heard something totally different, but I guess it still would make you happy one way or another.
So that's just a few things that can help in the moment when you're feeling that sense of imminent doom and fear. And, you know, concerts.
Yeah.
Concerts are awesome for uplifting you in general. It's scream therapy. You get out there and you scream. It feels good. You headbang, you mosh, whatever you like to do. Eat food. I don't know. Just being around other people sometimes. Even if the natural instinct is to hide, that was always my instinct, is to isolate. I don't feel safe. I'm going to isolate. You have to force yourself to get out anyway, because that's the thing that's going to help you heal, is being around other people who are healthy-minded and like-minded. So the music scene is a wonderful thing for that. And, you know, it's been proven that concerts can lower the stress hormones like cortisol. So that's another good reason. As a musician, I'm not always aware of who needs help, but sometimes at the end of our shows, people come up to me and say, you know, this saved my life because I stopped going out and I decided I was going to come out and I had so much fun tonight and thank you. And then they come to more shows. And, you know, the general public doesn't know that secret. But having that knowledge kind of woke me up to the fact that there might be a lot of people in the audience who feel that same sense of dread, that same hopelessness, that same fear of the future. And a great way to overcome that fear of the future is to plan a happy future for yourself. I recently had a health issue. I didn't know if I was going to survive, and I decided to plan a happy future for myself anyway, just in case. I started reaching out to people to make new friends. I started, I got a bicycle. It's a 92 Mongoose. I like old school BMX bikes.
BMX, yes.
But I was barely able to move, and so I had no business getting this bicycle. You know, because my health was like, I don't know if I was going to survive, but I just kept picturing in my mind, one day I'm going to be well enough to do some bunny hops, some, you know, whatever tricks. And that day came, and I'm so grateful. So no matter how you feel, no matter how convinced you are that things cannot get better, plan a future for yourself anyway. Plan a future that has things that you enjoy. If it's bikes or food or going out for coffee with a friend or whatever it is. Plan something. Plan a future for yourself. Don't project negativity in the future. That's the natural instinct. Oh, the future might suck too, so I'm just going to stay right here. No, that's not true. You don't know that. You're not a psychic. I mean, some of us are psychic, but it's most likely that things can improve. You know, I was talking about the placebo effect. You know, some people like crystals. It makes them happy. They're pretty. They might have, you know, special energy that helps you feel better. And the M&Ms and maybe it's a statue that you visit, that you talk to, you know, and it's the faith that you could heal that heals you. It's being open-minded to the fact that I could heal. You can. The future can be awesome too. Keep that in mind. And things can change for the better very quickly. You know, just because you've suffered for, 30 years, however many years, doesn't mean it's going to take 30 years to feel better. It could happen very quickly. It'll be gradual, it'll be tough, it'll be a hard road, but it could happen much quicker than you expect. So change your expectations, change them for the better.
Mike, do you have any suggestions for her?
Wow. I mean, Crystal, I feel for you. Um,
No?
the reason why I wasn't saying anything is because I just wanted to stay out of your way. I understood what was happening. I think that you are, you've spent a lot of time thinking about these things, obviously, and you're working them out in your head. And I think that being able to speak about it the way that you do, it really gets me, man, because um, you remind me so much of Amy that it's her story was exactly the same. It's almost like if I laid them on top of each other, it would look identical because she went through the same things, the exact same things, and she asked me the exact same questions. And I didn't say nothing to you when you were talking because if you've ever been in a situation where you didn't understand something in your own life and you're by yourself, and we all talk to ourselves, even though some people won't admit it.
Yeah.
And you start talking to yourself, and you'll be surprised how many things you learn about your experience and how many things um, lend itself to growth that you come up with yourself just through talking introspection. And Kristy has a big heart like me, and she jumped in and she wanted to make sure that you knew that there were people around you. And I'm all about that, and I get where she was coming from, but I also understood what else was happening in the room, and you were letting it go. And when somebody gets in that space where they start moving that way, I just let them go. I just let them go. And until I see space like where you're coming to an end, I just let it go. And the reason why is because you're sharing things that are very difficult. So for you to even start this conversation was a win for you. It was a win for you. And I'm telling you that there's not a person on this screen, and certainly not a person that's going to see this after it's edited, that's not going to feel your pain. Not one person. This video should be released with a box of tissues because that's what happens. And I wasn't even going to say that your story reminds me of Amy because it's easy for people to go through a dark space and then think that their outcome has to be the same as well. I don't want you to even imagine that or think about that for a second because obviously that's not true. Okay. The reason why I mentioned that is because I wanted you to understand that um, you're not by yourself. There's so many people that go through these things, and I get that a lot of people know what happened to Amy, and a lot of people that went through the same things that she went through, right? Um, I want you to understand that what you just did is what you have to continue doing. You have to continue talking
Yes.
about what you feel, because when you do that, Crystal, you're going to one day, it's like talking to yourself, that introspection. You're going to one day have an aha moment where you're like, okay, I understand something right now that I didn't understand a second ago, right? And I'm going to build on that. Because what I can tell you right now is that that person doesn't deserve the amount of energy that you're giving them. They just don't. And I get how hard it is for you to go through a difficult time because of somebody, and then to have that person continue on and build, and you're watching it happen in real time. I know how hurtful that is. I get it. I get where you're going through. But that's what's going to happen. And you have to move that out of your way and move forward with yourself. I'm going to chase my success. I'm just going to I'm not saying forget about the pain. I'm not saying forget about the experience and what happened to you. I'm saying you have to let that person go. You have to let that person go, because that's going to siphon off so much energy from you. And you're the way that you are conveying your experience is so strong. You keep doing that even in your own head, you're going to win. You're going to win this. You're going to win this. And even though it don't look like that when you get in those dark spaces, you have to keep going. I feel so bad that Amy fought for all those years, and she didn't keep going, because it would eventually, you'll find that hope that gives you that strength to keep going. So many people don't make it that far. I want you to make it that far. I want you to keep fighting this thing, because I know that whenever it gets tough, it seems like you're not going to make it. And sometimes you may even feel like I'm going to make it through this time. But I feel in my heart that eventually this thing is going to get me. I want you to know that if you keep fighting, you're going to find a passageway that's going to lead you to a better day, to strength, to hope. You're going to get there. Don't give up. Don't do anything like that. Don't give up. Find somebody that you can talk to. You can always reach out to me, Kristy. Anybody, I'm sure, in this window would be happy to talk to you whenever you get in a bad situation.
And we're cheering you on. We want to see you kick ass and succeed and get stronger, happier, take over the world.
For sure. Yeah. I'm not going to throw my guns, but yeah, what she said. I'm telling you, there's when we started this, and you were sitting there while I was talking and somebody else was talking, I was looking at you, and something in my head was telling me there's a story here that's gonna shed itself. Because for some reason in my heart, I knew that you were going to open up and tell a story. I feel for you. Like, I really, really, really do. And man, I mean, that is incredible, friend. Just incredible. Kristy, man, I gotta tell you that I really appreciate you, because I'm probably gonna look back at this and take some notes on some things that you said, because it's so big. And that's what I mean by not getting commercialized when it comes to suicide prevention, getting stuck in these weird spaces where it's just like, yeah, do you know the 7 warning signs? Yeah, do you know how to do this? We get stuck in those situations, and they don't work for everybody. There's no 7 warning signs for every suicide. Go ahead, Kristy. Yeah, there's just not.
There's so many dynamics that it isn't one cure for all. It's so many little things. It might be an unchecked illness. It might be an unchecked, allergy or deficiency. It could be like something as simple as a quote. Chrissy, your favorite quote. What was it? Survive the story.
Survive the story, because the ending.
You don't know the ending?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right now my brain's fried.
So always find that one thing, even if it's, you can add that to your toolkit for those rough times. I have a quote that I like a lot because I love Terminator. Terminator 2, my favorite movie, of course. No fate, but basically the future isn't set. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves. And it's just that belief again that I can alter my future. I can decide my future. I have more control and power than I realize. I'm going to implement that.
Yeah.
No matter who cares, One more thing I want to share is a graphic. I don't know if you could see that.
I do.
You know what? Here, I can get it. I can blow it up, sweetheart. Hold on a minute. Yeah.
And the saying is, survive the story, because the ending changes everything.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this graphic shows two men who are digging towards some jewels, right? That's their goal. You know, one of them gives up, obviously. He didn't realize how close he was to his goal.
Huh.
And that doesn't just happen overnight. That's a series of thoughts that leads to the decision.
Yeah.
You know, maybe when he got about here, he thought, well, nobody cares. And maybe when he got here, what's the point he got here? You know, we don't know. We don't know. That's his struggle. But he chose to give up, not knowing how close he was to actually reaching his goal. Whatever your goal is it simply peace? Is it simply just feeling a general sense of happiness? No goal is too small. But then there's this guy. He's got some stamina. What do you think he's thinking about that is going to help him actually reach his goal? Because it looks like he's doing pretty good. He's going to get there. He's probably thinking about my family. You know, they're rooting for me. They're cheering me on. I have a good support system. I have tools if I need them for my rough days. I'm going to eat better because when I balance my gut, it helps me. I just feel better. But when I eat a bag of Doritos, I know I'm going to be depressed afterwards. So I'm not going to eat the Doritos today. Maybe tomorrow. You know, procrastination is a tool too.
And
Yeah.
he keeps on going.
Yeah, and that's the idea, is you don't know how close you actually are. And that's why you got to keep going.
I like that. So, not to cut you off, Crystal, but give a quick summary of my story. My story is long, so I don't know how the hell, being Italian, I never know when to shut up. It's a long story. Savage Ladies of Metal was actually created over severe depression. And a lot of people don't know this. A few people know the basic story that I created Savage Ladies of Metal as a way to deal with what I was going through. I was in a severe car accident almost several years ago. It was in 2018. And I know a lot of people know about it, but a lot of people don't. And I was fighting for my life. I was in a brain hemorrhaging coma. My parents were told to pick a time to pull the plug because my vitals were gone. And for some reason, here I am. They came back to find many medical odds. I don't remember much for the next few months after my accident. My accident happened the day after the 15-year anniversary of my oldest brother's murder, almost to the day. And that my brother's death really, really screwed me up in many, many ways. Not counting childhood, my childhood was chaotic, and I know I was at fault for a lot of it, but it was fun for the most part, I guess. When my brother was taken from us, it sent me down a very, very big rabbit hole. And I'm not the type to reach out to people. Never have been. I was raised to swallow your pride, swallow your tears. You're gonna cry, I'll give you something to cry about. The typical raising for a lot of us, and here I am, I'm a product of my environment. But I was in a massive car wreck, and the right side of my body was completely crushed. Brain hemorrhaging coma. My leg was crushed into 23 pieces. Arm was broken. Heart and lungs stopped working. I was on full-blown life support. My brain activity was gone within days. And for some reason, I'm here. I woke up an hour before they pulled the plug. And I really believe my brother had something to do with it. And when I came to mentally, I guess as my parents said, my family, I was going through a divorce. So my ex-husband really, he wanted nothing to do with me, especially after the accident. And so my family had to take care of me. And I had 3 friends who completely rearranged their life to help my family bring me back. And I had to learn how to eat all over again. I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to think. But here's the thing, is they didn't realize that. They thought I was that I had severe brain damage because of a hemorrhaging coma. What they didn't know is that I was actually acknowledging everything my family was saying. I just didn't know how to talk. I couldn't get it out. And I started, ironically, around that time, I remembered I was a smoker. Out of nowhere, my mom said, I wrote her a letter and said, didn't I used to smoke cigarettes? Can you go get me them? That's when my family knew that I was able to write again, that I never forgot how to write, that I was still there, that I was acknowledging what was going on, because I started writing after my arm healed. And I needed something to distract my mind, because we didn't know if I was going to survive. We didn't know if I was going to be mentally handicapped. The doctors didn't know because of the severity of the accident and everything I went through. They told me I would never walk again. They told my parents I would never talk again. And here I am. And the only thing I had to escape was music. The one thing that has always helped me in my life, Lincoln Park growing up, it's, when you're 13, 14 years old, you go through a lot of emotions, a lot of changes. And in Lincoln Park, Chester was everything for me. So when Chester died, 7 years ago, he actually passed away on my brother's birthday, my other brother's birthday. I burst into tears. Just having that flashback, that memory, that the one person I resonated with, that I felt, the same relief in music, just passed away. And he took himself, he took himself out, brought me down hard. And that was, it was just before, of course, my accident by a few months. Savage Ladies in Metal was created for me to be able to try to beat depression. And I was using the music in the local scene to try to beat what was up here that I couldn't get out here. I didn't have that link. I didn't have the option to get it out because I couldn't talk. All I had was up here. And as I was starting to slowly get my words back, is when I reached out to some of my friends in the local Chicago scene, some girls, and said, I have an idea. And it was to create the Savage Ladies in Metal and to help the music scene. It started out was just something to distract me, because all I wanted to do was die. The pain I was going through, remembering everything that I went through 7 years ago, knowing that I can remember this is an amazing feat for me. There's a lot I remember. Sometimes I have glitches, but not many. Listening to my family talk around me and not being able to verbalize, listening to the doctors tell my parents she's not going to be here, she's not going to make it. The fact that she survived now is a miracle, and music was what I had. It's all I had. And it grew. My love for the music scene went to a whole different level. And I never stopped, because my way of handling my depression was to help other people. The problem is I keep forgetting about myself. And I'm still there. I try to do so much to distract my own reality in the music scene by just doing this, doing that. But music scene is kind of, it's not an easy thing to come into. It's a lot of drive. It's a lot of hard work. I've got the perseverance. I've got the drive. It's all there. But there's a lot of things that take you down. It doesn't have to be the scene. It doesn't have to be some people. I mean, there are some people, and everywhere you go, there will always be the bullies. The bullies will always exist. But if you have the right people around you to help guide you, it will help. The only problem is I'm so used to keeping things to myself, and nobody knows what I'm really going through. Because I want to be there for more. I care more about being there for everyone else than I do about taking care of my own self. And I'm still here, and I'm grateful for that. But I need help too. And I keep forgetting about myself, because the way I distract myself is by taking care of people, taking care of the music scene. And I just want to keep going more. What else can I do? What else can I do? Because once I get used to doing one thing, now I have time, and I get lost in my head. And when I lose myself in my head, it's not good. So it's like I feel like I'm always having to try to recreate something new that can drive me in a different direction and distract me. And I keep coming up with more ideas. and more things that the Savage Ladies of Metal can do, not just for the public, not just for the music scene and the fans, but for more people out there who may need other outlets that they can turn to. If I can help them in any way, shape, or form, I want to be there for it. If I can put my foot forward to give people that extra little push in the right direction, I want to know that I help them. They don't have to give me any public acknowledgement. They don't have to tag me on social media. It's not about that. It's about people knowing that there are people who do care. And I don't have to know who you are. I don't care if you're a perfect stranger. I'm still going to hold that door open for you. You know, I'm still going to show respect. Respect is not, respect to a degree. I will say that to a degree. Respect is not something you should have to earn. You should always respect your elders. Always open that door for that little old lady. Say thank you. Say you're welcome. Shake somebody's hand. You know, everybody deserves the basics of the humane, natural, respect. Unfortunately, not everyone thinks that way. And, there are ways to try to get through it. You just got to find that outlet. But if you can find that one hand that you can grab onto, I want to be that person for those people. I want to let them know that, some of us are really stubborn, and then maybe that's the grateful part, that I have, being raised to swallow your pain and your pride and don't let nobody know anything. Move forward, shut your mouth, don't cry. That's how I was raised. And I feel that does have a benefit to it, but also a very big downfall, because then I lose myself. But I'm more than happy to be that rock for you, Crystal. I'm more than happy to be there for you, Chrissy. And Kristy, I did it again. I got all three of them right.
Well,
anything I can do for you,
I want to tell you, thank you so much for helping me. And even though, I'm trying to be as good as a podcaster can be, I'm trying my best, but I want to thank you so much, because if it weren't for you, I don't know what else I was gonna do. I was lost, and I found you, and you're the best, and I'm sorry that all the things that happened to you, but you did save me. You did. And you're the best. I just want you to know that you did help. You did help me.
Wow.
I'm not done yet.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I never am.
And now you have a whole team now. So.
No, go ahead. No, Mike, go ahead.
What were you saying?
So yeah, my problem is I don't. My outlet is to hide behind the music. I'm hiding, and I'm doing it now.
Yeah,
I am.
I don't think that's hiding. That doesn't look like hiding. To me, it looks like you have a gift of bringing people together for a good cause. Sometimes just being together is good enough. It's healing.
That it's hiding what's really going on with me.
So if I can, because I do see some slight correlation between what I experienced. I know what you're saying, and I get where you're coming from when it comes to, first of all, you guys made me cry, and that's savage, seriously. But I know what you're saying. It scares me, though, because I thought this about Amy, too. I thought, if Project Semicolon could just take off and she could just see what she did, this is going to save her. This is going to be that one thing that there's no way that she can do this, change the world, and not be inspired to live, and not feel like she's somebody, not get rid of that weight of feeling like nobody cares. There's no way she could be that way after we pull this off. And what I can tell you is that it's just not healthy. Because you can, the same way that you come up with all these great ideas, like the Savage platform and the other things that I'm sure you are working on, the same way you come up with those ideas, which are great, and you should continue to do that, you have to be just as passionate at coming up with ideas to inspire you to live. When those lights come off and it gets dark around you, you have to really think about, what am I going to do in those moments? Build a plan. And I know Kristy probably has this all put together. I really think that after music, Kristy, you probably should just go into psychiatry. Seriously, because you have like a really kindred spirit. Like, I really enjoyed listening to you and the ideas that you came up with. But I really do think that it's important, friend, that you're just as passionate about coming up with ideas for you, for your own life, than you are coming up with ideas like this that are beautiful and that inspire people for sure. And I'm sure this video is going to help people. But if this video helps 1 million people, right, and those 1 million people find out that you didn't make it, I can tell you from experience that you will see a lot of people hurt more because of that. That's not to put pressure on you. I'm just telling you, I watched it happen with our platform. Because when Amy died, I was the one left there answering the questions. Like, how could she do this? Why? Like, how selfish? Didn't she know that we depended on her? Didn't she know that we were here? Like, she left us. Didn't she know that she was the reason why I decided to live? Her story gave me hope. And now I don't want to be here. I had to have 1 million conversations with people in that situation. So what I can tell you for sure is that you could do 1 million things and inspire 1 million people, but make sure that you're okay. Make sure that you're okay. Come up with a plan. And it's more important for you to do that when you're championing other people than any other time, because those people are depending on you and they're looking at you as inspiration and hope. And that's the way they looked at Amy. And even though Amy talked a lot about her struggles with mental health, they showed her no grace when it was over. They showed her no grace. They were just mad that she did that. They could not understand it, like how and why could she do it. I had to do interviews like, I don't like the camera. You never see me. And that's why, because I just don't want to. I don't want to be in these situations. I'm getting more and more comfortable trying to speak. I know that questions about Amy are going to happen, and I'm not sure how I'm physically and emotionally going to react to those. This is the first time that I've ever really talked about her. So far, I feel like I've done better than I thought I would, but it hurts still.
But to touch on that, on how you feel, how angry you got.
No, I didn't get angry.
I did. Oh, I feel I'm so pissed at my brother.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Because the worst phrase I've heard out of anybody, I get pissed off at them, is he said he was a coward. He took the easy way out.
Yeah. That's common.
Yeah, and I remember some of them, but it took me a long time to figure out that it was okay for me to be mad. That it was okay for me to be mad at him. And that's like one of the big things, is like I felt so guilty because I was mad. After I got over the pain, not the pain, but just over that initial shock, I went into being pissed. And I was so mad at him. I still am to this day, because I have to look at his son, and I don't know what to tell him. You know, and my dad is, and the other thing is in 1995, my dad tried to kill himself. He blew off his arm. So we dealt with it, and that's why I got mad at him. He knew what we went through with my dad. So for him to do it for himself, I'm mad. I'm still mad at him. I probably will stay mad at him. But definitely people need to know that it's okay to be mad at the situation. It's okay. And it took me a long time to realize that, and I felt guilty up until that bit.
Can I ask you a question, Kristy? Mm-hmm. Did your brother ever talk to you about what he was going through, or mention mental health or anything? Was there did you ever see anything that would make you think?
Going back on it, probably like the last month, he seemed like he was depressed, but my brother was. He was really good at hiding it, and he was a DJ, so he did a lot of stuff. But no, we had no clue.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My dad woke up to go get my little brother up from school, and found my brother in the closet. And we had no idea. I mean, there was no warning.
Yeah.
He was just with his son the night before. We all had a family dinner. I was helping him with formatting his songs. No, none. And when I got the phone call from my mom, or my stepmom, she called me. She was going to tell me my dad was dead, not my brother.
Yeah.
And all I remember doing is screaming. And I remember pulling up to the house, and there the hearse was there. And I'm looking at them, and I'm arguing with them. No, this ain't true. This ain't true. He's gonna walk out that door. And I remember thinking that all the way up until I saw him in the house. And I wanted it not to be true so bad.
Yeah.
Because it's very true, when they leave, they just pass their pain to other people. And I hate to say that, but it's true.
Can you say that again? That last thing you said.
When they do it, they end up passing their pain on to other people.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, well, you wouldn't understand." No, I don't want to understand. I don't ever want to get that low where I understand. And I've had people tell me, "Oh, he's a coward. He's this. He's that." What he did took a lot of courage, but it also it hurt so many other people that what did it do? Would have just talked to us. He already knew that at that time my son was in counseling already. He helped raise my son at the beginning so I could finish school. This is all stuff that he did. And he was just like everybody else. His heart was so damn big, and he took on everybody else's struggles. And I think that was it. Me and him were 2 years apart, and we were so close. Our circle of friends were the same people. And they were, and still to this day, I still run into people who haven't heard, that didn't know, and I have to tell them. And it gets painful when I have to relive everything over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Seeing it just on it took its toll on my dad.
Yeah.
My dad blames himself because my dad attempted before.
I'm so sorry.
I think when I think about they talk a lot about physical pain, and we all understand what physical pain is, but very few people take the time to understand emotional pain. And when you understand physical pain, and you try to make that correlation between physical pain and emotional pain, it's hard for a normal, not, I wouldn't say a normal person, but a person who's never experienced emotional pain or who doesn't understand what emotional pain is, right? Because there's a lot of people who understand and experience it that will tell you that it's much worse than physical pain. And when you think about that and think about how you feel about what your brother went through, you have to understand something. If you're pinned against the wall and you have to make a decision about your survival, um, I get that it's not the decision that you wanted him to make, but that's how they feel. They feel like they have no choice. This is how I end this pain. This is how I get out of this situation. This is how I stop this, right? Because when you think about Amy fought for 31 years, 31 years, and you imagine a boxer will get into a ring and fight for 15 minutes, and they're exhausted. They can't do that for 15 more minutes. It's impossible. This girl fought for 31 years straight. 31 years. And won most of those fights, except for that one. And I say that because you can't call somebody a coward when they fought for 31 years. You can't call somebody weak when they put up a fight for 31 years. You can't tell somebody that they gave up when they fought for 31 years, because you can't fight for 31 years. And there's a lot of people who can't fight for 31 years. So when I think about what Amy went through and what she must have been experiencing when she made that fateful decision, I just think about the fact that she fought. She gave every damn thing she had for 31 years. And anybody who says anything about the strength of that woman will have a problem with me, because she gave it everything that she could. I know that because I knew who she was. I knew what kind of fighter she was. She gave everything that she had. And I can promise you right now, I didn't know your brother. He gave what he had. And when you're in that building and you have to make a decision, right, to jump or stay, we don't understand it. I get that. But that was her decision. And I can't go back and talk to her and stop her from doing what she did. I can't. I know what she went through here. I know what she went through on this earth, on this planet. And I'm not sure that I can endure it. So it's much easier for me to understand, how she ended up in that position. And I think that maybe thinking about your brother's situation in that way, may help you. So just giving him that, is important, because I'm sure he's somewhere watching over you. And he would want you to say, okay, I get it. I understand it. And it's okay. We're fine. I'm okay. I'm sure he would want to hear that from you. And if you could get there one day, that'd be great, because I had to get there. It's not just about you. I'm saying I did this too, because I went through a lot where I was just like, why, Amy? Like, why? Like, we went.
Questions.
Huh? Yeah, I went through all this. Like, look at Project Semicolon. Like, look at everything that we've done. Like, why? It took me a long time to get there. And it was our community, the community that I thought would save her, helped me get through that tough time. Because talking to all those people, and like I said, talking to yourself, you come up with that introspection, you come up with so much good stuff. And talking to those community members that were hurt, even the ones that were mad at Amy, it gave me so much. It gave me so many tools to work with, and that's what helped me sort of get through the situation. Crystal, I just feel for you. I don't know how much more time we have, so I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands what I got from this, because I didn't come here really um, to praise Project Semicolon. I really came here because I wanted to see um, how this kind of conversation would evolve, and I'm just blown away. So it makes me look at myself in a way and ask myself, this is what you've been afraid of, Mike. This is what you've been sitting back and not wanting to do all these years because you're afraid of how this is going to affect you, what it's going to make you think about, how it's going to make you feel. That's what you're afraid of. I'm not afraid right now. I feel good. It's because of Crystal. It's Kristy, friend. I feel good right now. And you're probably going to see me do this again because I feel like this is important. Talking about her and hearing other people, because I listen to Crystal and I'm just like, that is just like so. The universe will move you in the right direction. And even when you don't think that it's where you're supposed to go, if you just give it a chance, Project Semicolon happens. Because all I did my whole life was chase money, building my company. And I met this girl who literally changed everything about the way that I think, changed my heart. And I think we all have to get to a better place, you know. And I'm not talking about people who are struggling. I'm talking about people like I was, people who are scared of their own voice. We have to like harness that, get out and start talking.
Talking about it takes away the sting.
Yeah. So thank you. So thank all of you because this has been incredible. And I'm happy that I answered that email because I usually hide. As soon as they say podcast, as soon as I read that, I'm like, well, we're not doing that. But I actually enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed the way that this was set up. And I loved listening to the stories and finding the way that these stories sort of intertwined with my own life. It's just incredible. So, friend, hands up. Like, seriously. Chef's kiss. It was beautiful.
Mike, from the bottom of my heart, I'm very grateful. And maybe there was an energy there. Maybe it was Amy.
Yeah.
Who helped you to answer that message saying this is where you need to go. Maybe, Kristy, thank you so much. You are an amazing, beautiful woman. And I'm very honored to call you a friend.
Thank you.
And, Crystal, bear with me. Three women with the same first two letters throws everything off with their name. You both are beautiful and amazing women, and I appreciate you every week that you join me on Savage Ladies of Metal Real Talk to not just be there for the bands, but to be there for people on a new level, on another level that I want to give to people as another outlet, whether it be for entertainment or another path that can help guide them in the right direction to get the help that they need and that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And that is what tonight was for. And I'm very grateful. And Amy, if you're listening, if you guided Mike, thank you. Because I want to do I want to do more. I would love to work with Project Semicolon.
Well, we're going to do our 10-year anniversary event on April 16th of 2025.
That's my son's birthday.
Is it?
Really?
Yeah.
That's World Semicolon Day.
Ooh, where's that? Where are you going to have it?
I think I'm going to do it in Denver. I was thinking about Portland, but I think I'm going to do it in Denver just because, I have more connection to the things that I want to pull off there. So I think I'm going to do it in Denver, but I'm thinking about doing small silo events as well. So our leaders that are all over the place. I'm thinking about having these small silo events and sort of like we do with TED Talks, just kind of piping everything into the main event. So I'm really like looking forward to that. And if anybody wants to be involved, please let me know. I actually left my personal cell phone number here on
Oh,
the
thank you.
chat too. So that's not going to be on the video, right? Nobody.
No,
No.
That's for our eyes only. But yeah, Mike, I would love to be involved, as much as I'm available and if I can. And I would love to bring a, obviously I work with music, we all do.
Yeah.
And I would love to bring a fundraiser for Project Semicolon to Chicago. I would love for you guys to come here.
Is that where you are?
I would love to, do whatever I can. And Kristy, if you would like to get involved, we could talk.
You know
more
it.
about that. I would love to do more, not just for all of us, but more for everyone out there. So now it's not just a matter of a phone call. They can be around people who are just like them, who just need that extra big hug, who just need to know that they're not alone.
Right. Lived experience. Lived experience is one of the things that Project Semicolon has talked about since the beginning. And when we started, there were a lot of things that we did that people said were crazy. And that was one of them, because all of our staff and most of the people that worked for us were people with lived experience. And everybody said, there's no way that you could have an organization running with people who are going through mental health challenges. And we proved them wrong. We became bigger than all of them. And another thing is that lived experience is very important. And everybody on this panel, or the people who are on this, I don't know if Kristy, I know everybody else kind of spoke about their challenges, but everybody that has lived experience, like, it just makes sense. Like, you have people who are helping, who are in the mental health space, that don't think that people who are going through mental health challenges have a voice and can help with what we're going through right now. Even with a shortage of mental health professionals, they don't believe that. And I think personally that I would much rather have somebody with lived experience helping around me than anybody else. That's me. And that's the way we've always done things. And also, we got a lot of flack for saying that people survive mental illness, suicidal ideation. A lot of people thought that was a crazy idea. Like, you never survive because you're always going to have that sort of like, what are they with alcoholism? Like, is it AAA, AA? Like, you're always going to be an alcoholic. You always have to come to these meetings. And I believe that you always have to be vigilant if you've had mental health or mental illness before, right? But I don't believe that you can't say that I'm a survivor. Because if you get to a point in your life where you no longer feel like you're suicidal, how is that not a survivor? How is that not a survivor? To me, that is a survivor. And we pointed that out, and lots of people around the globe are surviving right now. And we should all be able to acknowledge that with that word. You are a survivor, period.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk. And
I appreciate everyone for being here, and for everyone to know.
It was so good.
There is always an outlet, whether it be through a friend, through online. Project Semicolon, they are one of the top places to look on, to go on internet and look for help. They are worldwide.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are involved with Project Semicolon that could be there for you, who in any way, shape, or form might have an idea of how a calming box, like Kristy has mentioned, that can create ideas that can help get you through each day or maybe each episode that you may have, or amazing people like Mike and everyone else that's part of Project Semicolon and other foundations that do exist. They are not the only one. There are more out there. There are people out there.
Trevor Project.
Don't hesitate to ever reach out. Mike, is there a public number that people can call out to that's a 24-hour number in case they need someone to talk to?
So we're not like a hotline.
Okay.
More like we have a lot of information, obviously, on our website. We do talk to people constantly today on Facebook. So there are crisis situations that we handle. But we we don't consider ourselves a crisis line at all, but we will if somebody called us. But if somebody wanted to call us, it'd be 970-707-3021. That's how you would get in contact with us. Yeah. And we can help with resources no matter where you live. If you live in Chicago or anywhere else, or even another country, we'll take the time to find resources in that area for you. Yeah.
That's awesome. Everyone, ladies, again, thank you so much for being here and taking the time out.
Thank
And
you so much.
Mike, blessings to you and to all of you for being here. This something I think we all needed and still do.
It's
But
beautiful.
every little outlet, every little step that we take can help better ourselves. And this is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to give to everybody, not just for you, but for me too.
And one more thing, friend. There's also Project Semicolon in Latin America too. It's us, but it's all Latin. It's all in Spanish, and that platform is actually bigger than our English platform. It's huge. It's just growing like wildfire, and it's pretty incredible to watch that. So it's movimiento.yacama. You're better off Googling it because I can't even say it. So yeah, but you'll be able.
I'm not going to ask you to spell it either. So.
If you are from Latin descent, then you could go there and still follow along with Project Semicolon. Right. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it, friend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies. I hope you have a beautiful night. Mike, I hope you have a beautiful night too. If you could stick around for a moment, I would like to talk with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, great. Anyone else? Does anybody want to add anything?
I just want to say you all are badass. Thank you for being vulnerable, because it's going to help people. I know it. So
we're all human.
Love you all.
Love you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, you guys.
Hey, Crystal, Kristy. You guys all have the same damn name.
You also. All right, man, love and respect.
Seriously, bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're surviving.